tried almost successfully to take me out entirely. And when I say that, that's not an exaggeration. And if you're one of the few people that are left that are still following me, you can attest to that. And I'm not going to waste a bunch of time talking about the absolutely insane measures that are being taken, preventing me from uploading videos across multiple platforms, but especially here on ScrewTube, due to a lack of a better name. But this cannot, I cannot sit idly by and not speak on this. There's a lot of good channels out there. There's a lot of people that are saying very important things. And each to their own, and they have a wonderful perspective, some of them, and their heart's in the right place, and I commend those channels. Few and far between now, obviously, because just like myself, and what I was just saying, that is happening to countless real content creators. Now, if you're propped up, if you're regurgitating and parroting the narrative, then you're fine, of course. But if you're somebody that sees what is actually going on, or at least has questions that probably should be answered, well, then you'll find really quick. You'll find out you have no voice. Let's get the voice back. I am going to ask you this before I continue on. Let me take this Jesus Christ cross off because it rattles. And let me take this prayer dog tag off as well that says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I don't want that rattling around. CBS News, misinformation has surged following Hurricane Helene. Here's a fact check, because if anybody's going to tell us straight, it's going to be the mainstream media. I think we all know that at this point. As recovery efforts from Hurricane Helene continue across the southeastern U.S., federal and state officials have warned that misinformation and conspiracy theories are hindering efforts to provide aid and accurate information to victims. And, well, we're going to have to clear that up, right? Because what I really want to do is just find out the truth. If that's the truth, if CBS is telling the truth, then so be it. Maybe that is the case. Maybe there's just all this chaos and people talking all this crazy nonsense across X and YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, and Rumble, and nobody knows where the FEMA Dropbox locations are, and maybe that's the case. I think the best way to handle this is to find out from the people on the ground that are there, that have experienced this, that are living through it, that have had their lives destroyed. And according to CBS and many, many other outlets right now, they don't stand a chance of getting help because of these people that are saying negative things about FEMA, right? All these crazy, misinformation and conspiracy theories. They're tying MAGA into it. This is a right-wing thing, I'm being told. That's hindering efforts. Let's go on. The American Red Cross said misinformation is hurting relief efforts, while Deanne Criswell, who leads the Federal Emergency Management agency said the false claims are demoralizing to aid workers. Oh, so they're like on their way to drop off those food containers that are going to feed all those people that have been without power for a week and a couple of days. How long does your food stay fresh in the refrigerator without power? What are they eating? How are they getting the... So, you know what? You better think twice before you share something that says, hey, FEMA isn't doing shit. FEMA is blocking off routes and confiscating goods that are meant to be delivered to the people, the victims of Hurricane Helene, which has all the telltale signs of some type of geoengineered monstrosity. But no, that would never be the case. The government would never do that. They would never do that, and they would never drop bacteria on suburbs and cities in California just to see what would happen. They would never give black men syphilis to see how long that they will live. Your government would never bomb its own. Listen, they care about you. So it's important to know that. So when these people come across your stupid posts about how FEMA isn't doing anything, they might shed a tear. It's demoralizing. Think about them. Don't think about the people that just lost 2 children, their house, their car, and now they're being subject to all these reporters in their face telling them that, how dare you say this because you're a right-wing conspiracy theorist for... No. That's not important. FEMA and their employees who are trying to be the saviors that they are, they're being demoralized by those types of comments. And a lot of those comments, yes, are coming from the people that have just experienced it, that are living through it, that are trying to set up these donation centers and these mysterious Black Hawk helicopters fly in and fly low, and the wind just destroys it, then they fly off. They didn't do that just to cause havoc. They wanted to get a look to see if anybody was in need. Yeah, they flew a little too close. That wasn't their intentions. This is what FEMA means. This is what CBS News and all of the other mainstream media outlets that are condemning the behavior of these selfish, ridiculous people that have just gone through one of the worst things that they could possibly imagine. These poor fucking FEMA people. I can't even imagine how demoralizing that is to these aid workers. Oh man, let me keep going. So, luckily we got another one. USA Today is going to clear the air. Hurricane paths. FEMA response spur dangerous misinformation. Fact check roundup. We'll take care of it, guys. We're going to make sure that those people on the ground get whatever FEMA thinks they should get. And nothing more, nothing less. No, not what you think they should get. Who are you? Were you some government official in charge of the operations? Do you know the intricacies that are involved in such a insanely complicated endeavor? No. Sit back. Let the pros handle this. Hurricane Helene left hundreds dead, tragedy, and many, many more. Well, it's a tragedy, and inflicted life-changing damage for thousands more. But officials leading the recovery effort have had to fight more than just storm damage. Falsehoods, and conspiracy theories about the Federal Emergency Management Agency have spread widely online, continuing to circulate even as Hurricane Milton is bearing down on Florida. Dan Criswell, the agency's administrator, said misinformation has harmed people. And it had, God, man, think about the feelings of those. We just went through that article. Need I read it again? Their sense, oh man, I can't even imagine waking up in your king-size bed, having your coffee being blended to the perfect taste as you walk in the kitchen, only to see an alert on your phone. You gotta be there 30 minutes earlier. Oh. So now you show up to work, your day's fucking shot already. And then what do they say? Oh, guess what? You're on a new assignment. Wait a minute. Hold on. What do you mean I'm on a new assignment? Yeah, it turns out there's a bunch of people dying and losing their loved ones out in North Carolina because of this stupid storm that looks like it was geoengineered. You know, oh yeah, those guys. Yeah, well, turns out it killed a bunch of people. What the are you serious? Oh, man, Shannon was having the foosball game at 11. You're gonna... Well, tough shit. Tough. And then... people have the audacity. Like, these people have already gone through enough. You're waking them up. You got to be at work. Oh, man. And now you're telling them, not only are they missing the foosball game, but now you're going to be rerouted to another area. And you're going to be probably told to give these directives and being like, all day long, you're going to be like, no, sorry, you're not allowed to bring the food in. No, sorry, got to turn around. Do you want to do that all day? Think about what this is causing these government workers. I can't imagine living through this. It has got to be one of the hardest things that FEMA has ever had to deal with. It's creating distrust in the federal government, but also the state government. And we have so many first responders that have been working day and night to go out and help these communities. And guys, boy, are they. And we're going to look at how much they're helping them. But nobody, this is what I mean. People are out there, these families. Oh yeah, so you just lived through a hurricane? Big deal. Right? Stop posting things about how FEMA isn't letting you get food. FEMA isn't letting you get water. The power has been off for over a week. Foosball at 11. Come on. Fucking priorities. And it doesn't stop there. These selfish bastards just keep going. Listen to this, man. Once I heard this, I almost threw up in my mouth. I may have to skip around a little bit because ScrewTube is really trying to keep me from playing what I'm trying to play.
There's a growing interest in socialism.
But we're going to do it.
People in America. But
we're going to show these wonderful...
Put the boats in the water and go look for people. So you guys literally just flew out here with the plant, or you just flew out here.
And by the way...
Well, you can see the water line on some of these houses. It was like 11 feet. Like it was $1,000 a day.
Wow.
Before I go on and try to find, and I'm not going to waste a lot of time looking for it, I do want to say that I'm not a fan of this guy. I'm not a fan of Joe Rogan. I'm not a fan of a lot of these bigger channels. Well, I mean, how could we be? If you know, you know. If you don't, just keep listening. You should listen anyway, right? You can always learn something. Just know where to draw the line. But anyways, I gotta find this. And if not, I gotta...
Yeah, just like in Fuel in the Pilot.
Way I have found to go find these people that they were claiming was The sheriff department would not let them go videotape the bad area. A bunch of phone calls, and now
Forgive me.
it was me, my buddy Charlie, pictures and video
Almost there.
in helicopter looking for as helicopters. We got activated, which is great. I have my team up here working as well. Here's the problem. I'm going to tell you everything that's happening from the ground, what I'm actually seeing, because what they're telling you is complete bullshit on the news, and these politicians don't have a fucking clue in their.
Now, these are the conspiracy theorists that the trusted mainstream media keeps warning you about, and I think it's a good exercise in reason that we pay attention and listen to the nonsensical ramblings of a madman.
In their line. And I'll say this now, I'll say it at the end of the video. The only thing I need from this video is helicopters. If I have helicopters, I can save lives. Without helicopters, I can't reach these people. It doesn't matter how many chainsaws and trucks I got, I can't get to them. They're 10 miles in, 20 miles, 40 miles in the mountains. There's no way to get with them or even communicate with them. I am literally flying around in a civilian helicopter looking for SOS messages carved in the mud or painted on the ground, and we're dropping down and saving them. What got me fired up about this was yesterday, me and my team did the rescue of that 11-day-old baby. And all these government officials and social media, they're showing that video, that pictures and video of that rescue, and claiming that like they have some like government helped with that. And I mean, even USA, I think it was USA Today, wrote an article about it saying it was a Florida National Guard.
Who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe somebody that just had the audacity to shove their important life aside to go help people? Or are you going to believe the long-standing, trusted resources of information that we have, like CBS, like CNN, Fox News, and all of the other ones that have done nothing but tried their very best to show us the dangers of people like this that are just spewing hatred, spewing misinformation. And as the president, vice president, Alejandro Mayorkas of the DHS, the DOJ, NOAA, and so many other government institutions that your tax dollars are funding to a tremendous degree, all agree that this type of thing is the problem. So we need to stomp out this, right? What's the alternative? If we don't get rid of this type of misinformation, what world will we possibly be living in?
That went and got it, like with a helicopter. No, it was me, my buddy Charlie, and a civilian named Zeb with his own personal helicopter out of Wilmington, North Carolina. Like, without that civilian, that baby would be dead. And the old lady we went and rescued after that, she'd be dead too because she had 1 day left of oxygen. No one was going to go get them. I will tell you, when we go up in the air, I probably see 40 civilian helicopters, and I might see 2 Blackhawks, National Guard, military, whatever they are. That's it. No one's out there doing rescues. I have my entire team up here from Florida.
Now, guys, I want you to seriously think for a second here. The agency, right? The agency that is responsible for helping out, if it's not even like a question, the agency that is responsible for helping out Americans in need, especially during like natural disasters or other attacks, other things that happen. That is supposed to be the organization that swoops in. But what happened in Maui? And there was a lot of talk about, by the locals, by the way, right? Those spreading ridiculous conspiracy theories about how they themselves seen things that they've never seen before. Igniting, like almost like lasers, believe it or not, these whack jobs. Shooting down and like igniting. There's actually this insane video that I seen that I'm sure they had to have staged that shows there's no fire damage whatsoever. This, I'm talking about Maui, which was another FEMA response that they were trying their best, but for some reason the residents that needed that response were like telling them no, like get out of here. And it's because of misinformation and conspiracy theories. That's why it's so dangerous. It was a line right through this church. Through the top of it, right? Like it wasn't a fire that burned this church, but from the top, there's this crack in the roof. And it has incinerated the roof. Somehow, like I said, I'm sure these crazy conspiracy theorists probably set that up because they hate FEMA. They hate help. They don't want to be saved.
In Florida right now, and they have no ability to go rescue these people other than what they can drive to. And the people that are in dire need, they're out in the mountains. They are completely cut off. Now, I will say, I spoke to my congresswoman down in Florida, and she's a badass, and she made a bunch of phone calls, and now we got 2 contracted 60s coming up here tomorrow, which is great. I love that, but like...
All right. We'll see. We'll see. I thought this was I feel the same. But this is from the Atlantic, who are much more eloquent in the way they choose to express their frustrations. I'm running out of ways to explain how bad this is. Me personally, I have gone through 7 channels. This is I'm on Angel Dust now. Perdition Media is still up, but I am on, can't even keep track anymore. I'm 8, 9, maybe 8. I'm running out of ways to explain how bad this is. But like I said, let's slow down and read what the pros have to say, because I might tend to get carried away and just start flailing my arms around, spreading that very misinformation that we are constantly doing, apparently. Well, at least we're being told we are, and I wouldn't doubt that, because if it's coming from the mainstream media, it must be true. What's happening in America today is something darker than a misinformation crisis, and I could not agree more. Honest to God, on everything I love, that is one of the truest statements that I have read, not just by the Atlantic, but in the media as of late. The truth is, it's getting harder to describe the extent to which a meaningful percentage of Americans have disassociated from reality. So right off the bat, they're letting you know you're nuts. Or at least, maybe not you, but those crazy psychos that just lived through a hurricane that are posting saying that FEMA isn't helping us. Those are the psychos that we need to focus on, right? As Hurricane Milton churned across the Gulf of Mexico last night, I saw an onslaught of outright conspiracy theorizing and utter nonsense racking up millions of views across the internet. And you know what it was probably about? It was probably about the fact that this hurricane intensified and it almost broke the very metrics that we have always known to categorize hurricanes in. It like smashed the numbers in so many different ways. It's really, really impressive. But even though that was the first time we've ever seen that, climate change accounts for everything. They've been telling you climate change, climate change, climate change, and now you're starting to see climate change. So it's probably best that you listen to The Atlantic, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, etc. because they're only trying to tell you everything outside of what they are providing you is just bullshit. Just pure BS at this point, right? The posts would be laughable if they weren't taken by many to be gospel, among them InfoWars' Alex Jones, who claimed that Hurricane Milton and Helene were weather weapons. What? Come on. Unleashed on the East Coast by the U.S. government and truth seeker accounts on X that posted photos of condensation trails. Oh, I know where they're going with this. What are they called? Like Kuma trails or like chemo trails? Chemo. It's like these planes that just apparently these conspiracy theorists say like there's these planes that just spray strontium, barium, aluminum, metallicized particulates across the ionosphere, leading for like radio waves and next rad technology to be able to create high pressure zones, therefore manipulating the type of weather structure, the flow, the jets, all of those things. What? They would never do that. Yeah, they taught, like the government they do have patents and they have admitted to doing that before. Like, yeah, with Vietnam and Project Cirrus, or was it Operation Cirrus? I don't know. Somebody fact check me because I don't want to be spreading misinformation, that's for sure. What is going on in Asheville, in North Carolina in general? On a serious note, like there are people. If you're a human being and you're seeing, well, you're not seeing. That's the problem. And if you are, they're telling you that you're not. And if you are, well then you know what you're being labeled as. I want you to stop for a second and think about what it is that they're really doing. This isn't as simple as just making this psychological association between people that are on the ground, living through it, sharing those posts. Like, this shit didn't come out of nowhere. And that's what's being labeled in a certain way. It's like, there's a lot of people right now, a lot of people that are going through things that you couldn't even imagine. Imagine seeing like dead relatives in trees nearby. When they scavenge an embankment, there's 14 bodies in a mud slab. Talking to your loved one for 4 minutes while they're huddled in a tree and they're seeing this massive mudslide come down over them that came out of nowhere. And there's a lot of help that's needed. Like, there's a lot of help that's needed. And it's being turned away. The Guardian. It's mind-blowing. U.S. meteorologists face death threats as hurricane conspiracies surge. This is the shit that they're going to continue to feed us. Meteorologists tracking the advance of Hurricane Milton have been targeted by a deluge of conspiracy theory. Do you see? Do you see?
You know, there's a lot of discussion now about how you curb those entities in order to guarantee that you're going to have, you know, some accountability on facts, et cetera. But look, if people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and, you know, has an agenda and they're putting out disinformation, our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just, you know, hammer it out of existence. So what we need is to win the ground, win the right to govern by hopefully.
Excuse me? Need to win the ground? The right to govern? After talking about the First Amendment being a barrier to whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish? Freedom of speech. Listen. They're going to try to continue to pit the left versus the right and the right versus the left. In no better time can they do that but in a selection season. If you look close enough, where it matters, there is no difference. There is no difference. When it comes to war, they're all on the same side. When it comes to Israel, they're all on the same side. When it comes to the central banking, they're all on the same side. When it comes, they will play against each other, and each time trying to keep it around 50, because every once in a while you'll get a victory, right? And then your team will cheer, and the other team will, oh, blah, blah, blah. But then that team will get a victory. And as long as we're like, they're bad. We need to wake up. Like really wake up. Because this isn't the day and age you grew up in. A massive shift has happened. The veil has been lifted, and they are telling you who they are and what they intend to do. I need you to share this and get it out there, because I have a treasure trove of information. That is why I continue to get eliminated. Just demolished off the internet. I cannot even. You wouldn't believe me if I told you, so I won't. You could just say, oh well, you know, you just whatever. If this resonates with you in any way, do me a solid. If not, at least you made it this far. Things can be done, but it has to be done in the right way. And God bless all of you. Much love. Peace.